Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. This is KLOS New and Approved. I've got my guest this week, and it's Eva Marie from the band Eva Under Fire, and they have the #1 rock and metal album right now in the country with Love, Drugs, and Misery. Welcome to the show, Eva.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you guys.
You know, I got to say, I was bummed I missed you because we were like passing like ships in the night at Louder Than Life, one of the biggest rock festivals in the country. It was incredible, the lineup that you were a part of. And I was looking forward to saying hello to you and saying, hey, we're going to do KLOS as soon as I get back to town, and you're back home for a couple days. And, of course, I never got to see you, but I heard your set was great.
Oh, you rock, man. Thank you so much for that. So crazy is like second nature, I feel like, in those environments, because everybody's got I had to and from the PR tent and all these other things. So it was pretty wild. So yeah, I can only imagine your schedule was crazy.
Yeah, it was. So, Eva, let's talk about it. It's, the band is really, I love the band. And, you guys, it's 5 guys. And you started out around 2015 coming together with some of the underground rock scene in Detroit. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. We started when they were still allowing smaller, independent, original artists to do local band showcases at these giant venues, right? So like my first show ever was at St. Andrew's Hall upstairs in the big hall. So it was pretty wild. I loved the camaraderie that was then. Unfortunately we've taken a hit, I think, on a lot of our local venues now. But it's still got a Detroit Rock City vibe for sure. And I know a lot of artists out there that are real big names, still know Detroit for that. So trying to bring it back. Like
I love that. I love St. Andrews Hall. What a great venue. Upstairs and the small room, everything about that place. So many
we
people
practiced Shelter a few times too. Yeah.
So many great bands have gone through there or started out there. So I got to come out there and hang out. I remember, it's just a cool place, going to Kid Rock. Kid Rock lives in Clarkston, Michigan, right outside of there. So going to his place and hanging out, and just a bunch of other great bands that have come out of Detroit over the years. Of course, the history from the 60s, 70s, all the way up. I love the Michigan Midwest rock and roll scene,
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know the Machine Shop? That's what I'm rocking right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's great. So Eva, let's talk about it. I was I listened to some of the singles that you guys had out and was turned on to, that great cover that you did, and we played it here on the show, of Separate Ways that you did with Journey, which you do such a great version of it. And the reaction that I got by playing it on the radio show was, wow, that's a really great version. They really nailed it. Not an easy song to do because of, the original Steve Perry thing, and how good the band is, and I told Steve Perry about it because I'm a friend of his, and he's actually here. I see him pretty regularly in LA. He's part of a group of friends that I have. So I told him about it, and he told me he was going to check it out. So next time we talk, I'll let you know what he had to say. But I'm sure he's going to have nothing but good things to say about it. Tell me about covering that.
Yeah. To the fact that you even now I have to tell you what it was like to cover this. You know the guy. I mean, this is insane. Thank you for that, and I can't believe. Oh, thank you so much for the support. And look, when we do covers, it's go big or go home, right? So we wanted to obviously we're Journey fans. My guitarist Rob loves the way that they the guitar sings the melody, it just, and there's such great hooks. And I mean, for me as a vocalist, Steve Perry is like the cat's meow, so I figured we'd give it a shot and pay some tribute, pay some homage to the greats, and so I love that everybody else loved it because it was really fun to do.
Yeah, I was trying to find, I heard there was a cover you did of You Keep Me Hanging On, which I was looking for. Is that something that's very early? Because there is obviously this version that was a hit in the 60s. It was great, by Vanilla Fudge. They rocked it out almost like total hard rock, slowed it down. I mean, it's a great song by the Supremes, whoever it's done by. It's one of those incredible tracks. But I was looking everywhere for it, and I can't find it. Is it not available right now, or is it
I
on
think it
indie record?
existed at one point, and I think it just got lost in the ether somewhere in the internet. Truly, because I don't think we've ever intentionally taken it down, but it absolutely was up at one point, and I think it was the Supremes version that we covered. And it was just that one was fun because it wasn't originally built for a five-piece active rock band, and so for the guys to kind of put their spin on it, and then to emulate that sort of range for me was really fun. I have a soulful kind of tone to my voice. I'm very inspired by like Alicia Keys and some, that's the stuff that I grew up on. So when I get some kind of soul that I can perform on some of these covers is really fun for me to do.
That's great. You got to check out, you and the band got to check out the Vanilla Fudge version, because Supreme's version came first. And, I'm old enough to have been around in the 60s when I was a little boy, though. I was very young. But because I'm like a total rock fanatic historian, the version, I thought it took balls for Vanilla Fudge to release it as a single and cover it and deconstruct it and make it almost like a slow metal version. Like, literally 6 months after the Supreme version went to number one. And then it came out and was another hit. It was like top 3. So it was a hit twice. So, and I knew you guys were a little young to know it, but if you have seen the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino film, it's playing during the entire ending scene where they got the flamethrower and they come to the house and they get their revenge on the Manson family there or whatever.
Wow. I've not seen it. I'll have to check that out now. That's awesome.
Yeah, Quentin put it and played the whole end of that song at the end of that movie, which is really cool. So, and
crazy
did the Vanilla Fudge version. Yeah.
Yeah, for that song to be a hit back to back like that too. I didn't know that was a thing. That's awesome. Kudos to that melody, right? That song is absolutely.
Yeah, just
fantastic.
great songwriting, right? You know what I mean? And great performing, which is really cool. Eva, let's talk about this great new album, Love, Drugs, and Misery. There's such good songs on it. Tell me about this, because it's been quite a while in the making. You put out some stuff, yourselves online, and drop some songs, some EPs and things. But this is the first full-length album. Can you talk to us about it?
Yeah. Oh, it's been a ride.
Yeah.
We started the writing process. We found support with Better Noise in the middle of that process, and then it took some more time to complete all of the full-length album. We turned it in. We were so excited for it. We were ready to release it in March of 2020. And everybody knows what happened instead, right? So we've been hanging on to what we felt was just one of our best compilations of work ever for what seems like a million years. So honestly, it's very surreal for this even to I can't believe this day has been arrived that we're here now. And then for us to be literally driving home from Louder Than Life, and at 1 a.m, we all pop up out of my van, we've got bench seats, and they're like, Eva. I was like, what? They were like, it's number one. Our album's number one in rock and metal. I was like, what?
Yeah, what? That's fantastic, isn't it? What great news that is.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Surreal is the way I continue to describe it, because it truly is. I mean, and right after something like Louder Than Life, I was already on a high.
Yeah, I mean, you open that stage there, and then, of course, that happening. It's just great news. And, Blow has been on our countdown. It's doing really well on our countdown, and I was really happy about that. Let's talk about that track, being a part of the Retaliators movie, and working with Spencer Charnas from the band Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah. Whew. It was a bit odd, very, very strange the way that it all kind of came about. We were certain that was going to be a front-running track for us. We were really confident that was going to be the single. But I didn't know that, because it's just a feisty, kind of fun song, just real, straight up banger. And when they said they wanted it for the Retaliators movie, this scary film, I was like, I don't really see it. How do we align this, And then they sent me the treatment that they were thinking of how we can incorporate it into the film, and I was like smitten all immediately. And then they said, so you know who else is in this film? Like, obviously, it's just a giant rock star studded cast in this film. They said Spencer's in it, and we thought we'd see if he'd like to jump on the track. And I'm new here, so we were like, "Is that a for real thing? Can we do that?" And it was kind of like COVID, and so there wasn't much that we hadn't ever met in person. So kind of like the suits all put this together, but it was so rad. He was such a kind, just a sweet guy, you know. And he comes back to me. He's such a horror fanatic. He comes back to us. He says, "Hey, this is a really great hook, and I'd love to jump on the track. How about we write my part according to my character's perspective in the film?" And I was sold. And then I was like, this is going to elevate this even farther than I could have imagined. So it just took it from awesome to epic, I think, in
Yeah.
the end. You know, now everybody's loving it. And I knew that they would, but for it to actually come to fruition now is really amazing.
And all the great people in that film. You know, you've got people like, obviously Jacoby Shaddix and Papa Roach. And, I mean, the soundtrack's incredible. Motley Crue. The guys from Five Finger Death Punch, I know, went to the premiere recently. It's just there's so many great rock people involved in the film, and so I just think it's really cool, and it's a great soundtrack too.
Yeah, that the soundtrack is amazing. I mean, it was such a cool film to be part of, and like everyone that was on set was just so incredible, and it was really just a nice welcoming vibe, even for people like me who had never been on a professional film set before. I felt very much inspired and taken care of and welcomed, and it just made it so much more fun. And then now to see it on a big screen and with such an all-star soundtrack, it's really incredible.
That's great. Now let's talk about one of the things I think is great and really interesting. The audience, I think, will appreciate is um, that you're also a clinical psychologist, and that's one of the things that you do when you're not out rocking out with your band, who's doing great and blowing up right now. You've been a clinical psychologist, and I'm a kind of guy who can relate to that. I've been very open about being clean and sober, and my journey, and how I relapsed during the pandemic, and just all the things that come along with the isolation that was happening then, like obviously depression, just many other things. But I just wanted to talk to you about that and your life as a clinical psychologist and how that works within your music and stuff that you do. And do you find that
Yeah, it was a weird kind of series of events. I knew I wanted to be able to connect with other people in a meaningful way for my career. I've always loved the idea of, not just talking about the weather or doing something frivolous with my life. I wanted to be meaningful, and I wanted to empower others. And I thought I could do that in two ways. I could do that through music, or I could do that through therapy. And I've been very open, even in my lyricism on the new record. I mean, you guys will hear it, about my story and my different things that I've been through, and it was kind of my catharsis. So I wanted to start studying psychology as kind of a way to get my own things together, and sort of like map out what was happening for myself. It taught me a lot about me and about others, maybe what would benefit them if they were going through a hard time. So and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do these things. I'm going to see which one pans out.
yeah.
And then in 2018, we were awarded with, I was rewarded with both. I got a record deal, and I also graduated with my master's degree in psychology.
That's brilliant. I think it's great. What a great story that is. And you know, I'm glad you could do both because you're making people happy and helping people with both. Because music is what's better therapy. That also, not only with having somebody there to talk to, but also to empower them with music. So, as you said earlier in the interview, which is great.
Yeah, it was really interesting the way that I used music almost as my own therapy to get out all the stuff that I needed to get out. And then what we would recognize is that other people would gravitate to this message and sort of make it their own. And so now I get this really beautiful sort of moment when we play live, when people are like singing stuff back to me. Oh my goodness, melts my heart every time,
Yeah.
especially some of the songs that are so important in my own life. I very often find myself thanking the audience, thanking the crowd for singing it back to me, because I feel it in that moment. It's something very special about rock and roll.
That is great. Now, you've also had a couple other guests on this record too, From Ashes to New, and Jonathan Dorr from Ego Kill Talent. So talk to me about the choice of some of your great contemporaries that are on this as well.
Yeah, it was an interesting way of getting people on board. As a new developing artist, we wanted to come out swinging hard, heavy hitting, with some of the really cool, hopefully new friends that we were making. Not really having inroads or relationships just yet, but just we were very confident in the music that we were making, and so we were like, okay, let's see who fits this vibe. Spencer was definitely it. And Ice Nine is amazing. We're fans of their music in general. But then we get to, like, From Ashes to New. They actually gave me my first shot at doing something on the label when we first showed up, right? Because we did a remake of one of their songs, and they had me on it. And so when we filmed the music video for that song, uh, Matt just kind of sidelined me. He was like, "Look, we're always in support of new bands. We just wish that we could have done something like a new song, because we feel some kind of way about doing a remake of our own song, not anything about that you're here." He was like, "We like having new artists on board with us. We just wanted to do a new song." So when we did our record, we were like, "Cool, well, here's a new song." We had to do an open challenge.
Yeah.
We sent it over to him, and the first thing that he wrote was absolutely fire. So I was like, yeah, can we print that? Let's do that. So great. And then there's Coming for Blood. So we're excited.
Coming for Blood, great song, Coming for Blood. And let's talk about working with Jonathan Dorr from Ego Kill Talent, another band who were on the Louder Than Life bill we were just both at.
Yeah, they were so it was interesting the way that we were introduced to them, because they're from Brazil, which was great. And we didn't know much about them. They didn't know much about us, but we were both developing artists, like, on opposite sides of the world. So what ended up happening was Theo of Ego Kill Talent had this really cool music video idea for one of their songs. I believe it was Deliverance. And they invited me to be a part of the music video. And so we sort of invited Jonathan to be part of our song as a, so it's almost like a show trade, but a music swap.
Yeah, that's great. He did. I want to one last thing I'd like to talk to you about too is I love your cover of With or Without You on the record as well. You did the U2 song, which again, what I have to say, and I've got to give you total props for, is that to do songs that are like Separate Ways or With or Without You, that are these classic songs that a lot of people would be afraid to touch because they wouldn't really be able to do them the justice or the the tribute, but you managed to nail them on both those fronts. I think that the boys from Dublin would be very happy and really enjoy your version. So talk to me. Is that an important song to you? Were they an important band to you growing up?
I mean, we're all, have some of our favorite songs that are, U2 is among them for sure. I don't think With or Without You was necessarily like a favorite song of mine.
Yeah.
But, in the concept of go big or go home, when we do covers, I mean, U2's the biggest band in the world. So, and what an amazing voice, So, I think that we really wanted to hit it out of the park. We wanted to also, it's more so just challenge for ourselves to see if we can do it justice, and like I said, pay tribute, pay homage to some of these songs that were so important to, not just us, but like entire generations of music, entire generations know Journey, U2, and and so we just wanted to I guess give see if we could do it.
Yeah, and you did it. It was great, along with all the original material too. So tell me what's coming up in the next 6 months or so. I will definitely be seeing you at Aftershock, which I'm excited about. So we'll definitely connect, and I'll meet the rest of the band there. I'm looking forward to it.
Much love. Yeah, that'd be great. I was just gonna say, we'll have to actually make sure that we, paths cross at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aftershock is gonna be amazing. And we are in talks with some of our new friends about upcoming things for 2023. So that'll be really fun. And then we've just we just dropped this new album. We're gonna throw ourselves a little hometown party, which will be super rad. At one of our like last standing local venues that we've been playing at for years. So it's gonna be a big party. We're excited about that. At the I don't know if you've ever if you know Michigan, do you know the Token Lounge, Smoking
Yeah,
Token?
yeah, definitely. I do because I have so many friends there. You know what I mean?
That's
I
awesome.
love
Yeah,
the
yeah.
I
So
love the area of all that area of Detroit and all around. You know, some like I said. So there's a lot of cool places. I've been over the years. I've been in like Grand Rapids, East Lansing. You know what I mean? You name it.
yeah,
I
yeah. I
mean,
mean, there's Bean Shops in Flint. We've got some things coming
yeah,
up there.
and
We
the
cannot
Flint, and
announce
I
it
know
yet.
Flint well too. I've been to Flint as well. You can imagine. So when I tell you I've been there, not just Grand Funk from there, but I've been there, and Michael Moore. But there's a lot of great stuff and people from there. But Flint, yeah, I was up there shooting with a TV show called Farm Club. I used to do with Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, and everything. I hosted that show, so I was up there shooting that in the early 2000s in
Wow.
Flint. So, yeah, I know the state pretty well, which is great. So,
I was gonna say, yeah, you know all our stomping grounds then. That's wonderful. Well, great. So yeah, so we're throwing a party there. We're gonna be in talks about 2023. New album just dropped. So
and
go
that
check
last,
out
and you
Month's Misery. We've we'll be around.
quickly, just tell me about that last tour you were on was really great, right? I mean, that last, yeah,
So we met new friends in bands like Atreyu,
yeah,
Nothing More,
yeah,
Lilith Czar, Hailstorm. I mean,
yeah,
this is big stuff for an up and comer like us. Even just to go to Louder Than Life, first time we've ever played Louder Than Life, and we show up there and we have friends. So from the front gates, I'm hanging out of the window of our van yelling at Nothing More's crew, "Hey guys!"
yeah,
So it was just so much like fun. It felt like I was a kid at camp, you know. So
yeah.
but yeah, the last tour was fantastic. We were able to finish the tour out, which was great. Even despite, weird world stuff still going on. I really think rock music is back. It's here to stay. And I can't wait to see what all the next shows will look like.
I think they'll be great. And congratulations to Eva on having the #1 rock and metal album. I mean, it's phenomenal. That must have been incredible news for you guys to get while you're driving out in a van, you know what I mean, or your RV or bus, whatever it was. But just finding out that you're in the #1 position, enter at #1 is such a great thing. You know?
Yeah, it was a wild ride, man. Yeah, for sure. We were in our 15 passenger van
Yeah,
rolling on the road.
yeah,
changing seats every couple hours trying to get back home.
yeah.
And we wake up and it's like that was what we woke up to. It was fantastic. So yeah, we're off to a great start thanks to supporters like you. So we really appreciate, you guys are killing it for us, and thank you guys for all the love, truly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eva. It's great to see you, and I will see you at Aftershock in less than
Yeah.
2 weeks. You got it. It's great. Thanks so much for doing this. Eva Marie from Eva Under Fire. Don't forget their new album. It means Love, Drugs, and Misery. It's #1 on the rock and metal charts. Thanks for watching us here at KLOS New and Approved. I'm Matt Pinfield. I'll be back with you soon.